Feels good to sit down. I've been working too hard. He said farming was easy work. Hello, my dear ones. Always a great pleasure to spend as much time as I can get in here passing some love on to you guys. You guys are incredible. I thank you for all your kind words. And Janelle, thank you. She sent me a nice letter. I did her iris analysis. And she's just dealing in some extreme pain, and she created some essential oils she sent to us, so we'll try them and let you know how it works. She made them up herself, and she used these essential oils because she had a lot of pain in her legs and knees. And if you see this, you'll see why. You know, you see the varicose veins and stuff like this. I'm going to show, anything that. I mean, look at these veins on these legs. Parathyroid, thyroid. See those varicose veins? And I'll say those legs are edemic. So you know immediately there's kidney failure involved. But you know what? I think you could always safely say that there is kidney involvement in everything there is. I wanted to show you this gnarly thing she sent in here, though. And this came out without any herbs or diet, so you know. Mr. Worm. Ooh. Yuck. But dear one, you dig in. You work on your parathyroid, thyroid. You get your kidneys filtering, which she is. Now I'm thinking she's saying she did get her kidneys to filter. And keep working on that. And get all that edema out of your body. And get the connective tissue strengthened. And everything that I saw in your iris analysis. But thanks for that. That's a picture says 1,000 words. And I want to thank this gentleman for the testimonial. This was nice. It made me cry, man. I'm not going to read it or I'll cry. But this is Stephen. And Stephen, this is a gentleman from Bellingham. Stephen had a Bell's palsy, and he he had neurological damage in his left hand and leg or foot here, and he's been somewhat bedridden. He's such a good lad here. He did a live talk here. It says, "Hey, Dr. Morse, below is a transcript of a live talk I did in London, UK in March 2017. That was just last month, or 2 months ago, regarding my healing journey. In my darkest of days, I knew you shared the truth." And he goes on. Pretty good. Thanks for that, man. But in all due respect, you guys are the ones doing the job and doing the work. I'm proud of you guys. You guys are trusting in that. You're grabbing it, and you just like him, he's pulling himself back. He made a comment here. He felt like he could feel his nerves regenerating. That's cool. That's cool. And remember that. Go back to that last study about the brain size of humans and primates related to fruit. So you know the electricity. I've been saying this for years because we've had experience with this. It's not something we just say out of the scuff of things. We've had experience with it to show you that the vegetables does not quite have the power of the fruit when it comes to nerve regeneration, at least of humans. And this guy just really did himself well. He has an incredible history. Now, this was an athlete. This was an athlete who, in pre-September 2014, I was somewhat over a picture of health, what mainstream society would call. I'd be almost 16 stone of muscle. I was about 8% body fat, and I was a competitive athlete in 7 different sports for 10 years. Now, that's an athlete right there. So, he's got his life back. And it's a long thing, but I want to tell you, he did an amazing job for himself. He went on the radio. He's telling the world about that. And good job. Good job. There is regeneration of tissue. You cut yourself, you want it to heal, right? That's regeneration. Well, how can you slow down regeneration and how can you speed up regeneration? What side? There's only 2 sides of chemistry. So in your hours of like, okay, Which side? Because both sides can't do the same. That's an oxymoron. Of course, that's impossible. Both sides are totally different. That's what that old saying about males and females don't understand each other, because they're totally different. You're the opposite sides of the coin, but of the same coin. So, this guy did well. Congrats, Stephen. Good job, man. He went and looked at the different parts of the bodies of animals and all these things like that. You might think it's strange that we put that stuff up there like that. But in this particular time, on this particular planet, in this particular dimension, in this particular journey that these souls are on, that came together on this particular rock, things are real negative, and the mind is losing it. So that's why I teach you guys, as quirky as it sounds, is to get out of your mind. Get into you consciousness and control your mind, because those that let the mind completely control them, they're constantly thinking and lost in that, are being used by mainstream media and other media outlets and other things, but these are all negative forces. Take it beyond that. Who controls that? And if you keep taking it back, it's a classic battle in all religious and spiritual teachings. A classic battle between the positive side of the forces and the negative side of the forces. A classic battle. And in most religious scriptures, it is the negative cycle's turn to be dominant. It's in Christianity, it's in the Bhagavad Gita, I believe, and I know it's in the Upanishads. And so we know that pretty much this is kind of how things should be, because the negative cycles are winning. And when you look around there, it's like, oh, look at all these strange things people are saying, lies and untruths and things like that, and you can see them. So it's like, be very careful. These are tough times of survival. And you don't want to create karma by the mind taking you to places you should not go. You want to pull back and be in control of your awareness. And to be in control of your awareness is to control thought. You do not want to be lost in thinking. You know, we always are thinking. What are we going to do? We're planning and thinking and planning and thinking. I'm bad at that. And I was, my livelihood was going to be an architect. So I did build a lot of custom homes, and I drew the blueprints for the homes. I'm a draftsman. I was a draftsman in the Air Force. I'm a draftsman. So I drew up plans. And I can't remember where I was going with that. Somewhere. But thank you so much for this. Thank you. And have a good life. Keep going. Keep digging and digging and digging, so you're so good, you feel so good that you can eat crap and you won't have one symptom of negativity, except that you don't feel good from it. Some people that don't quite get there go back the other way, and then their symptoms come crawling back. No, you're not done yet. When you're done, I don't care how bad you eat, you will not have a symptom in that tissue anywhere. So you want to push your detox until the body regenerates that area completely. And then you're done. You're done. So keep working. Keep working, and good job. This is a good job on you, you know. And I'm glad you had the faith. You know, I thank a lot of you for having the faith to dive into this. It's amazing how many of you have taken that leap of faith and got your lives cured up and everything else. You're a blessing, and I thank every one of you for that. I think I've already showed this one. No, Tiffany Jones. I've got two pals I'm going to work off of. Excuse me. Tiffany Jones. I like that name. Tiffany Jones. Hello, I have a question. I have gotten, I don't even know, Chlamydia, and still have it. I have had it for the last year despite being treated with I take this as an antibiotic, Zithromax, 2 times. They gave me the treatment and then wait 90 days. Yeah, is it? Yeah, that's a bad boy, right? I'm not overly familiar with this one, but it seems like I've heard that. Sounds like a bad boy, especially when you call it max at the end of it. It's like, oh. I took it in February, but I'm still feeling symptoms, so I want to do a water fast. Do you think that will work? And how many days do you think I should fast to eliminate the unhealthy bacteria? I test again in May, and if I still have it, I'll be at risk for losing my job. Oh, I am the United States Air Force. All right. My favorite. No offense, but that's where I was, Air Force, and I just like the Air Force. Of course, I like to fly, so in all ways, right? But listen, chlamydia, it doesn't matter the bacteria. I want you to think culturing medium. You're trying to kill something that's hard to kill because they're there for you. It's hard to realize that bacteria each has a level of individuality and consciousness. They have a particular type of chemistry that they're involved in that they break down. I forget how many different strains of bacteria, wasn't it? 350 to 1,000? I don't remember how many strains of bacteria, but there's a lot of them. There's bacteria that break down iron, so there's all kinds of bacteria. But you got to remember that we produce a lot of waste at the cellular level every day we live. And if we're athletic, like Stephen, or we're our jobs are very active, then we create a lot more chemical residues as we are burning a lot more energy. And energy, in some ways, at one level, is chemistry. So, burning chemical energy, we have chemical residues, like burning petroleum products in your car, gasoline. Yeah, carbon monoxide coming out and carbon dioxide. You have all these acid principles that are byproducts from all these chains of activity, whether it's the Krebs cycle, the cycles of digestion of carbohydrates and the like. It doesn't matter what activity or energetic experience it is, there's going to be some chemical involvement here at the physical level, and in that process, some residues given off. It's those chemical residues that the body has to get rid of because they're acidic. And I was reading you this thing, which I'm going to get more into once Pat gets freed up. Marcy's been off, so everybody's double doing it, so Pat hasn't had time for me and her to do that video that I've been talking to you about. But in there is just awful good information for you in learning how the body works biochemically, because, and I almost have to laugh in that we'll give you what we know, and we're talking about an A&P professor that teaches these medical doctors what they know. So we can tell you all that we know about it, but this is life is mysterious at certain levels. We know so much, but then there's so much we have no friggin' clue about, I mean, it just, as Patty was telling me one day, she says, when she was a professor, there's something new almost every day in physiology and anatomy. Something new, something discovered. That's what I'm saying. When you sit there and you go, okay, I know it all. Yeah, right. I mean, we're scratching the surface, but knowledge is something that is ever going. You'll never ever be or find all the knowledge of something because you already are the knowledge of all things. Very difficult to understand that, in that you come out of the all that all things come out of. So since all things come out of the one has all things in it. Everything is in consciousness and expressed through individualities. So the one has to express itself in duality to have expression. One cannot express itself as the one. You have to have two forces to have separation and differences. So you in understanding God, you have to understand that all religions talk about the one. And I think that's important for all of us to get to that point in this day and time, is that we all come from the one. Even the ISIS people, you all come from the one. You can fight all you want, kill all you want, but you all come from the one. How it expresses itself in duality is seen through plants, animals, and things that you've never seen of on other places that besides this one. This is just one little planet, and this is just one little dimension in worlds and worlds and dimensions or realms or whatever you wish to call them. It's just unreal. Fascinating stuff. But as it would be when you're talking about the all of the all, the great one, the divine. And everything we can say about it limits it to something. And that's the problem. There's not much you can say about God that gives it that infinite understanding. Everything we say about it, we define it. We use the male gender, we say he, and all this other kind of stuff, and none of that's true. If you're an infinite being, you can't be one gender. See, you have to be all genders. Isn't that funny? I mean, you really take a look at this and look at that and understand that in meditation. It'll send you out there. So in meditation, use meditation to eliminate points of identification of yourself. Quit identifying yourself with anything. Anything. Be free. Totally free. And you will soar in your awareness. You will start hearing and seeing things you never saw before. Because you're totally present. You're not lost in chains of thoughts or energetic flows of thought that take you away. It's like daydreaming. You sit there, oh wow, I was really off. You are traveling. You go wherever your attention goes. And the mind can take you in infinite places. So, but in chlamydia or any other H. pylori, I don't care what wicked E. coli. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Most people walk around with staph and strep anyway. Staph and strep anyway. So, what's up? Do we kill it? If anything the medical profession has taught us, it is the fallacy of antibiotics. The fallacy of trying to kill bacterium. It is better that we understand why they exist and the importance of keeping a clean sewer system. Because it's the sewer system that these little babies are involved in. They're not involved on the cells. They're not sucking down the cells or anything. They're after the sewage. Now, you weaken a cell. You get a cell down a little bit. But generally, you have macrophages that take care of that stuff. Bacteria doesn't really go that way. They go to the acids. But just like in the digestive tract. When you're breaking down food particles and you're breaking down stuff, that's a call of the wild man. And so they're going to come in and they're going to go, I've got dinner. They can't get upset. And we blame the symptoms on them, and that's just so short-sighted in the 21st century for allopathic thinking. And understanding that antibiotics have wrecked the human being. All these people with extreme RA and Lyme's and lupuses, those are antibiotic people. When you kill the bacterium in your lymph nodes, you are in trouble. And if that's correct in science that the kidneys cannot eliminate acids under 5 pH, that's a problem, right? Because most tissue acids, most acids that come out of the cells, most acids that cells, most poop from the cells are acids, right? All of it, bacteria. Well, you got bacteria to break that down, but that's 3 pH. 3 pH. And like those universities said that 3 pH is Coca-Cola. Well, Coca-Cola is actually a little hotter than 3. Coca-Cola is, I think, 2.85. Pepsi's up about 3.1, Dr. Pepper, but they're all around that magic 3. Now, these are logarithms, so a little variance can be a lot. So if your body can't eliminate cellular waste unless they're at 5 pH, that can be very insightful, right? So what takes those 3 pH acids and brings them up or down, however you wish to look at chemistry, to your 5s and 6s? Because your urine, in my opinion, should be 6 to make the bladder happy and everybody happy. You want to have 6 pH. If you're peeing 5 pH, I think I got a UTI or something. I think it was Young, and one of them that wrote the pH Miracle. One of them was claiming 5.5. I like 6, 6.2, 6.3. When I see healthy people and basically what they're eating and everything, and they're staying away from acid ash foods and stuff like that, they have a good 6.2, 3 in the urine. But you never want to see base. You don't want to see 7 or above, because you know that's your electrolytes, that's your good chemistry, and you know that wouldn't be good. So slightly acidic urine is vital to see. Too much So I don't know, you know, you just have to go by science in these universities and what they think they've uncovered and things like that. At the same time, you have to always keep what you know to be true and view those in the presence of truth, because you have to fit them where they belong. When you try to fit studies and things like that in flawed thinking and flawed theories, it doesn't fit. So a lot of medical doctors just push those studies to the side. We don't look at those. But in reality, when you bring them up to truth, it's like looking at humans. When you look at the human being, you've got National Geographic, you got Discovery, spent a lot of time in research, you got anthropology. So when you see all these people claiming that the Homo sapien is not a paleo, that he is an islander, and then you go back and they found that, and I know I got trouble for saying, but I'm going to call her Ardicopithecus because I don't know how to pronounce a word that long, and if you yell at me, okay, but I still don't. I'm not in anthropology, and these words are really long. But it's a female, a bipedal, upright, walking female, Homo sapien-like, in Ethiopia. Remember, we talked about that on another video. That was about 3 years ago by now, or 4. And they carbon dated her to 44 million years ago. Well, they thought man came out of the primate chain 22 million years ago. Here they have a more Homo sapien bipedal female, double that. So when you get to the bottom line of that, and then the conversation was, this can't be, because Ethiopia is there, this cannot be. But then they brought in archaeologists who said, no. 44 million years ago, Ethiopia was a tropical land. So here we have more evidence that there are Homo sapien-like beings living in the tropical areas way, way back. And when you look at us, it becomes obvious. It's like this gentleman, Stephen, compared the hands, the teeth, just like we gave you the pictures. I mean, you have to get almost childlike with some people because they I don't know. But take a look at the differences between all the species, and then it just all clicks. It just all, it just all clicks, yeah. Doesn't mean we can get there and get back to a fruitarian lifestyle in any one lifetime. But we can surely, as man, start working ourselves back there, getting our health back with the fruit, and then having a high level of it while we balance out with the other foods we're so conditioned to eat. Because that's all it is, conditioned to eat. And we've never been conditioned to eat healthy, ever. So, my dear one, you must move your lymphatic system. If you want to clean bacteria out of the body, they're not in the blood, they're in the lymphatic system. And you can always use parasite M and G, and if anything in the blood, it'll clean them right out. But you really want to get into the lymph system and clean it out. And remember, the blood cleans itself into the lymph system. If the lymph system is stagnant, there's no cleaning the blood into it. So the spleen has to, you've got a spleen and kidneys. But in my opinion, the spleen is vital to the resurrection of blood. It refurbishes the red blood cells. It cleans the blood. It cleans the blood into the lymph system. So it's a protein or acid cleaner. So the spleen is a vital organ. It needs to be taken care of. But I would just detox myself, get my kidneys filtering, sweetheart, and get this cleaned out of you. If you're trying to treat it with antibiotics, you're going to hurt yourself. You're going to have some blowbacks to this. It's not going to be happy because it sounds like your lymph system's backed up a little bit, which is common with all of us. And with that said, of course, she might be past the time here. I don't know, but I hope she doesn't lose her job in the Air Force. That's especially with chlamydia or whatever. What is it? Chlamydia. That stuff's not difficult for us to get rid of in a detoxification scenario. No bacterial is. Never had anything that was difficult. I've never had the opportunity, but would love it, on a flesh-eating situation where a person is in the hospital and, of course, they're pumping them, saturating with antibiotics, and it's still barely stopping them, so they have to cut all the tissue out and the hands off and the legs off. I would like to show them how we can stop that. That there's several things you have to consider when you're going after bacterium. And that is the condition of the cells and the condition of the interstitial fluid and the genetic weakness or strength of that tissue. All that needs to be looked at to understand why you see that. Hello, Dr. Morse. I want to thank you for all the effort you put to teach us the true healing for ourselves. Thank you, man. Oh, Randa. Randa, R-A-N-D-A, Randa? Thanks again. Thank you. Yeah, I'm Randa from Middle East. Ooh. So I'm sorry my English is not that good. Well, neither is mine. Even though my grandmother was a school teacher. I mean, not in modern days. She was in the old days. She would get the bus. She would go pick up her kids, grades 1 through 12, take them to the school, teach them, and then take them back home. That was the old days. She was born like around 1900 or something. She was a good lady. I sent you before this question, and I'm sending again regarding my 9-year-old son. I noticed a big pupil in his eyes, and you mentioned before in one of your videos this is a neural problem. Absolutely. It's kind of like the cops pulling you over and shining a light in your eye, and your pupil's just going, hi, I'm okay, and your pupil doesn't dilate. I mean constrict. If your pupil doesn't constrict when you have bright light in there, that's a neurological weakness. Or you have something that's a neurotoxin you've been consuming, or a neurosuppressant, neural problem, and adrenal weakness. I'm really scared and want to help him. He is also shorter than kids in his... Okay, all right, this is important. He is also shorter than kids his age, and he is wet bed. Okay, this is easy. I put him off dairy and animal meat. I really need your help. Thanks again, Dr. Morse. I love you so much. Oh, thank you, man. Easy case. Guess what's wrong? You guys, come on. Everybody, come on. Universe, you too. You're always up there. Come on. Pituitary. Pituitary, my friend. Pituitary. Yeah, you want to fix this one early on because this controls all the other ones. Plus, there's probably more to it than just the pituitary, my dear one. Because when that pupil is so big, it could be, a lot of central nervous system weakness here. So, upper circuit brain and nerve for sure. It's the pituitary herbals on your boy. Now, 9 years old, you have to look at the weight. I put the weight on the bottle so you can see how much the weight is and how much of a dropper full that you use per the weight. I think I'm the only company that does that. But you're supposed to take them by weight. So, you want to go after this young man's pituitary. Still wetting the bed at 9 years old, pituitary weakness. And his short, that all just confirms it right down the line. Perfect case to understand there's a pituitary involvement, and you can help this boy out perfectly. You can work on this young lad, and by the time he's growing up, you'll see him start catching up. You'll see him start, we've done this many times, start catching up, and your boy will be all healthy. And you do want to go after the kidneys and adrenals. Why? What's making the pituitary down anyway? What's causing the pituitary? Yeah, we know what the problem is. What's causing it? All right, so at 9 years old, you could claim genetics, and I would agree. But how do we weaken any tissue in the human body, and what system is the dominant system that does that? It's not the blood. It is the lymph. There's only 2 fluid-based systems in the bodies, and that's chemical, and that's blood and lymph. So you have to look at the health of the cells in the context of these 2 fluids. Just because allopathy doesn't understand the sewer system yet, that kind of leaves them out in the cold, doesn't it? The problem with that lack of understanding, it's responsible of the deaths of millions and millions of humans, and the maiming of millions and millions and more, and millions of young people running around with ADD, ADHD, and then thousands and thousands and thousands with seizures. For what reason? Can they give us a good reason why? For the good of what? I hope that you beautiful souls and us can demonstrate to this world how simple healing is, how simple true healing is. You don't need medical degrees. You do need it for surgery. It's nice to have some understanding in the ER too. But that's medical. Medical is the emergency rooms and surgeries. Not healthcare. That's naturopaths, chiropractors. That's our us, the people that understand the chemistry of foods, the body, and how that all interworks. Not changing the illusionary thing of diseases. So you want to work on your young man's pituitary there. I would say definitely get him on a little kit. Get him on the first kit. It'll last him for a month or 2. With his weight and everything. So you got plenty of herbs there, but you're going to have to add that pituitary as a hitchhiker onto that one. I certainly would, but yeah, go after him and your child will wake up. And get him on the fruits, because there's another thing. Remember, we talk about the fruits and nerve and brain development. Lots of fruits, berries, and melons for that young lad. So when you have a pituitary weakness, what other tissue have I been talking about that we always see involved that has an embryonic and a symbiont relationship to the pituitary? Which one? Oh, I know, I heard you got the colon, the transverse colon. Working on the colon is essential to getting up here, believe it or not. You get a real impacted and a real distorted bowel here, it's not going to let you drain. It's not going to let you drain. Oh, and by that, the thinking there, it probably wouldn't hurt to candle your son's ears. You know, a couple candles per ear. Clean his ears right out. Help get everything going up here, but upper circumbrain and nerve. Upper circumbrain and nerve. You want to go after that pituitary and go after his lymphatic system. And you will win the day. And your boy will catch up in size. This is not quirky. We do it all the time. I've had tons and tons of children calls of underdeveloped children. Always find the pituitary. Now, just out of, I'm going to see how many of you guys have been listening on these videos. What other tissue in the human body, wait for it. What other tissue in the human body deals with growth hormones? And you can't find this hardly anywhere. Try. Which one? Thymus gland. Thymus thumping. Remember we talked about thymus thumping? Thymus gland. So, couldn't hurt to pick him up with a little, that would have to be a thymus glandular. But I do believe that the endocrine gland formula would probably serve quite well for that one, since all these herbs work on all the glands anyway. But you also move that lymph system. How many of you got that one? All right, this is Laura. I submitted this question back in November. And January 17th, we can't conceive. Oh, my husband is 33 years old and has non-obstructive Azoospermia. That was always a hard one for me, too. He has a biopsy on his testicles, and at first they thought that tubes were obstructed, but the results showed 0 sperm. Wow. His sperm doesn't mature. It only gets to the spermatid stage. It doesn't develop the sperm tail. Have you had any cases like this? Nope, but this ought to be cool. Please help us. I've seen about 200. Oh, whoa. Good. Thanks, sweetie. Thanks for that. But all I can say to you, even if I have never had experience with something, I love to get new cases that you've never had experience with, just to show you that regeneration is across the board. When you're going after your body's health, you're going after it systemically. Whether you're talking about ovaries, testicles, prostates, doesn't matter. And what they produce. It's like glands. If glands are shut down, they don't produce either well. So you get them going. I would do this. I would definitely get your husband detoxing. Get him on the fruit diets. Get his kidneys filtering. Make sure his PSAs are down to below 1. Make sure everything is looking good that way. And he's filtering. Then grab our male reproductive formula. Not till he's filtering and the prostate PSA is down below 1. Because these are hot herbs. Alright? And that's what these herbs for. The uhimbis and all these things. These are hot herbs. But they're male herbs, the same as Panax ginseng. Panax ginseng isn't for females. Dong Quai is. So it's just, but if you get a female Panax herb, it's hot on her. So she's more the base chemistry, remember? Males are the more acid chemistry. So this is when you get into the tonics for your man. And I will say that our Ultimate Immune would be a perfect one for that, because I have Panax and I have Antler. So those are tonics for the male. There's tonics for the female as well. But you want to clean him, detox him first. I'm telling you, there's a reason why he's not producing, and the blockage would be an interesting thought. Because if you don't have a blockage, you have genetic weaknesses, right? One of the two, right? Both of them are dealt with through regeneration, through detoxification at this level, both of those tissues. You're going to go back and cells are going to change their memory patterns back to the original. You're going to see genetic weaknesses actually going away. And at the same time, if it's a blockage, that's the lymphatic system. It wouldn't be a blood blockage. Now, lower circulation. There's another formula that you could do, because men that can't hardly get it, lower circulation. So lower circulation, make sure the prostate is clean, the kidneys are filtering, because you do not want herbs when he has inflammation down there, when he has a lot of acidosis, because that will actually make him burn even more. We don't do the chemotherapy stupidity where you put acid on top of acid. That's a crime. You don't do acid on top of acid. No chemist in this world. If a chemist would think that way, you need to turn in your degree right now, because you didn't learn anything. So, but those are the things I would do. Lower circulation, get on the kidney and adrenals, make sure he's filtering. Maybe he's going to do a little dry thing, whatever he has to do to get his kidneys to filter. Besides the kidney formulas, maybe a little dry fasting, get on a grape diet. And here's another thing. Get a picture of your man's eyes and look at it and read it. And if you can't read it, you send it in here and you make note on here, produces no spermosa. And I'll take care of that. I'll look at it, and we'll all take a look at it since we're talking about this, and we'll take a look at the testicles, we'll take a look at the prostate, we'll see what his eyes are telling us, right? Right. But you want to go after him in this way. On yourself, you want to do the same thing on yourself, honey, because you have to carry this young thing, and you want to make sure your ovaries are in good shape, your uterus is in good shape, your pituitary is in good shape, because that determines whether you're going to carry to term or you're going to have a preemie. All these things like this. So we have a female reproductive formula that tones the female. So I would do the same thing for myself. I'd get myself healthy, because God's doing this for a reason. And you want to take a look at the genetics involved in both of your cases, because you could have one that you might not be real happy over because of the genetics involved. So there are reasons why everything happens, and you can't get upset about it. You want to be smart about, why is God doing this? What do I have to look at here? What's the knock on my door saying to me? Maybe we need to get healthier first. Maybe there's a real serious reason. Because I'm telling you, you young guys and gals, your babies are going to have some serious troubles if you don't get your health straightened around. And you don't need that in your world. This is a tough enough world out there. And when you enter babies that are a financial burden medically, it's devastating to these families. Devastating. That's why there's a big fight about pre-existing conditions and things like this. It's a tough battle, because that means everybody else has to pay for your children. Money just doesn't grow on trees. So that's why it's important. And that's not just that. The heartache, the despair that these parents have in their poor children's problems, I can't hardly read them sometimes. It just rips me apart. I had to talk to the dad with a cancer in a 9-month-old eye. A 9-month-old baby, cancer in the eye. I mean, that's not fun. Feel sorry for that dad. Because not just for the cancer in the eye, we can get that. It's what he's going to be going through allopathically with that. That's what makes you throw up, what they're going to do to this baby. Can't think about it. So that's what I do, sweetheart. I get that, make sure the prostate's down, get the kidneys filtering and all that, and then I hit the male herbs. Also, like I said, the ultimate immune, lower circulation, all these things start resurrecting, bringing blood flow into things. And of course, you're on a good fruit diet and all the goodies and all the consciousness of the fruits regenerating the cells. We don't understand hardly anything here. There's a magnetic side of this. There's the consciousness side of foods and chemistry. There's the reason they exist. They're the consciousness of it. Nothing can exist that doesn't have some degree of awareness to it, because it comes out of pure awareness. Anything that comes out of awareness has awareness to it. It's just whether you can understand that or not. It doesn't matter, because if you use the mind, we don't understand most of anything in God's world. There's so much. It's infinite. I mean, we're one little dot on the map. Pink. We're just in that little dot right there. And we're not even in that little dot. I mean, it's massive. But that's what I do, sweetheart. Go get your both lives healthy And there's some reason for that. I apologize I didn't get to you in November 16th, January 17th. So I really do apologize. If I had your phone number, I'd probably call you right now in front of everybody and tell you I was sorry I couldn't get to you, because a lot of you I can't get to. But when you have a problem like this, you get on that phone and you call up the clinic and get an answer here, because if they don't know, they'll find me. Jayne? I like that different way of spelling it. Jayne. Wow. Message. This is to let Dr. Morse know that I still think he is the best. Let me give you a hug. Thank you, honey. What an awesome person. Oh, wow. Who so generously shares his wisdom with all of us to change our lives. Oh, wow. I am a huge fan and so happy to know you. Ah, thanks, sweetie. Detoxifying may not come that easy to me, but I will keep on keeping on. You know what? And she brings up a good point. You know, it's like, life is a struggle here. Plain and simple. So, you make it as easy as possible. You know we were lied to, but that's the nature of the beast. You know, you can't get mad at anything, because that's the way this level at this place and this planet is grown. So this is why it's so important that we lift it up a little bit. When we were still cutting people's throats and heads off, we got lift it up a little bit, just a little bit. Jesus. Thank you for caring and sharing while watching your videos. I literally feel your passion. Oh, thanks, honey. Thanks. I love you too. Thank you. Appreciate that. Makes me, you know, in a world this crazy, it makes us feel good to get your good comments, because I'll tell you, there's so much suffering out there. It's just, it's horrible. It's horrible. And the kids. Oh, what's this? Oh. No, this is a letter here in this. Huh. This is from Jean Tallman. To Dr. Morse, in this life, you are the incarnation of truth. Oh, thanks. I have been preparing for this final consciousness. And make it so. Because for those of you that are here for the last lifetime, make it so. And for those that don't know what that means, realize, open your consciousness up and realize that life is so massive that you're on a journey, and not just for a few years, like 60. That isn't even a blink of an eye in the all. So you're on long journeys of lifetimes after life, what appear to be lifetimes after lifetime. You, only the body's changing. Bodies can't last as long as you. You last forever. But bodies can't last that long, so you're always changing and shifting bodies and experiencing different experiences on the journey. And some of you can remember some of those journeys. And if you can't, there's a whole place. You have to realize that there's a part of your mind that's recording your journey. There's a part of you right now that's recording your journey right now as we speak. And you can view these recordings anytime you want. And they're famously called the Akashic Records. And they're on film. If you've ever had your holy ones or your spiritual guide show you past lives, it's like on a film. It's amazing. So there's so much you can do. But I would make this my last journey at this level. Because this level is a hell. Compared to all these other levels, still God. But you got to be in the right mindset to survive this. You know, but the higher levels are just so much more free, and even this level can be free if you're free. So, oh my God, thank you so much for this. But yeah, make this your last lifetime. And the way to do it is not to create anything new. And that's the trouble. The mind likes to create. What about emotions? We love emotions. I do. We have desires. Our desires. But if you realize our desires are in the little world, and that we could have desires in a far, 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 far grander world, which would you rather pick? Little bitty things or massive experiences of the infinite? So, if you want to make this your last lifetime, don't create anything you have to come back here and pay for. Because let me tell you, cause and effect is very real. Physics is well established with this. And it is very spiritually established. Cause and effect. Just because Jesus called it you reap what you sow, Buddha calls it karma. We have different names for it. It doesn't matter. All the spiritual giants, if they're spiritual at all, recognize that there's cause and effect. And if they're not cause and effect in your teachings, it needs to be added, because all people on this planet, all beings need to understand there's cause and effect. What you do to anything comes back to you. It doesn't matter. Plant, animal, humans, doesn't matter what it is to. It's energy that goes out, comes back. So the sad thing, all these people like Isis and all these people, but I can also go to the world bankers and all the elitists and all of you guys are steeping yourselves in returning and returning and returning at this level, and you could have such much grander experiences that money just can't buy. Always cast before the horse. Never too late to finish this life in full consciousness. Well, you can only get so conscious while having a physical body, so don't feel too bad about it, my dear one, because it won't let you have too much, or you'll burn yourself bad, and you won't stay here anyway. I tell you, it's like licking the nectar. You don't want to go back to the crap. So it's like, so be in the present as much as you can be in the present, and let that just keep working on being present. Keep working on stopping thought, watching thought come in. You can watch thought come in. You can watch your thoughts. You don't have to be involved in them. And it just takes practice. Understanding that you're the consciousness. You're where the buck stops. There's no more going anywhere. You can be deeper in consciousness, no question. There are worlds and worlds of pure consciousness too. A little bit more than most people on this level can understand. But it's enough to say that you've got to work from that position, and then everything is outward, so to speak. The light masters are to guide all who simplify through truth. Thank you for all the love. You betcha, man. P.S. Been on fruit, berries, and melons, going on week 5. I love it. But preparing for years, living on, Maui for 32 years, so much fruit. Oh, you lucky person. We can feed millions from smart planning. See, that's what I'm saying. You guys are the forerunners of this. You know that. You know you're sitting on the time bomb of truth. And you will be the ones that help this world to try to survive through understanding, like he's alluding here, how we help the masses. It's like the other scary thing is, I hope some of you like farming, because some of you need to become herb farmers. When the world understands the power of the herb, so to speak, we got to be careful about wildcrafting them off the planet. I was telling you, my son took Mary Gladstar's course. Thank God he's finally thinking about this field. And she gave a longer list than I thought exists out there of endangered, so to speak, in species. And it's concernful, because a lot of these are top herbs. And when you realize what herbs can do for you, don't hurt my babies. I mean, the world's babies. Love it. Sorry for the poor spelling. You think yours poor? I wasn't present in school when it comes to English and spelling. I'm a male from Midwest. And Midwestern males, particularly back in my time, we didn't sit and listen to English and spelling. That's like going to home ec for us. Now today I'd be going to English, spelling, home ec. But not back then. It's one of those things. Thank you, dear blessed one. Thank you. And namaste to you. May the blessings be, my one. Keep getting yourself more open. Keep freeing yourself of the chains and shackles of thought and desire. And you will free yourself to be a free agent. Wherever you wish to put your attention, you shall go. There is so much freedom afforded those that awaken. Wow, we got a bunch of, I don't know what today is. It didn't start out too good, but this is pretty nice. We've been talking about the pituitary an awful lot here, and here's one that says pituitary surgery. What? You ever notice how these are running? So, and I'm walking off of 2 piles here. Older pile, brand new pile. But this one, hi beautiful team, thank you. This is a beautiful soul right here. I have so much more to say that I don't know how to start. Well, first of all, I want to thank you guys for all the amazing things you do every day to help people all around the world. I thank you for that. I tell my staff all the time what you guys tell them. Good people. We got to get some good people in there. I'm Debbie from Argentina. I heard Argentina's pretty cool. You know, I think it wasn't Argentina one of the safe havens where people want to go. I'm pretty sure. I heard Argentina's really great and it's good people, honesty, integrity. I've heard nothing but good things about Argentina. And I think it was one of the countries listed as a great place to go. I saw Dr. Morse's videos a couple of days ago, less than 2 weeks ago, and since that time I knew I really believed his words. When I haven't done that in my whole life about what people teach us in our day-to-day. Isn't that amazing? And I think if you would, do the same thing. Always speak the truth from your heart, because it doesn't matter. If it hurts someone, it hurts someone. You just have to speak the truth. But I try to buffer it with, is it kind? Is it true? Is it really necessary? You know? Because some people just say things and they don't think about it first, and it hurts other people's feelings, you know. And there's no need in that. Because, remember, energetic blowbacks. You want something coming back to you nice, don't you? You don't want people to blow back on you. Well, if you blow back on someone, then you're going to get it on yourself. So that's like, if you want love and beauty in your life, you give it. You give it. And you'll get it right back. So I started my journey on a 100% fruit diet. Yeah. I love fruits, so it's been easy for me to stick to it. That helps. And you know what? I'm amazed for those that say, I never have eaten fruit. There's some people. I had a cowgirl in my office. She was a cowgirl, but she was an older woman. You know, she's probably in her 50s. She said, I want to tell you right off. She says, I'm a meat and potato lady. I said, well, I'm going to tell you right off. You got to drop that. I ate different kinds of fruits the first 4 days and started a grape fast. Oh man, you're kicking butt. Who is this? Kicking butt, whoever this is. I am on my 9th day. Now this is a while back. I'm on my 9th day on the grape fast. I notice that every time I eat them, I have a terrible pain in my stomach. You know what? You want to pull your eyes and look in your stomach area and see if you have any black areas in your stomach around that. Your stomach ring is about, I would say, 1/4 of an inch. Sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less, but about 1/4 inch, perfectly circle around the pupil. If it's acidic, you'll see what they call the stomach ring, which is a translucent ring that goes immediately right around the pupil. You shouldn't see that. When you see that, that's called the stomach ring. If there's black within that ring, you might be feeling, you know, because when you're talking about grapes and fruits and stuff, these babies are strong. So when you have a weakness, they can let you know it. If that's too strong, back up. Back up. Split your grape juice with apple juice. You know, cut it down, because pure grape juice, people talk about foods and they don't realize the power of foods. Anybody have pure Concord grape juice, fresh squeezed? Yeah, good. I mean, so that's power. That's power. Or real dark green alfalfa leaf juice. Oh, woo! I'm telling you, whoa, woo, that's power. There's a lot of power in nature. You know, if you've ever been near a hurricane, which I have, and you hear it, that's scary power. And that ain't nothing. That ain't nothing to the power of the Creator who created it. That's why I'm so much a God lover, because you look around and just look around. And this is the worst. They call it the ash can of the universe. A lot of the masters do, but then it kind of is. But it's got its beauty. I see it. or that is what I think, because I don't know if it is the stomach intestine. Oh yeah, see, all right. So your stomach is going to be up in here, all right? So right down below here is going to be your colon. So where is your pain? Tucked up under there a little bit, under your solar plexus, your rib cage there, your sternum there? Or is it right there at the sternum right around here? Or is it on the side or something? So that's how you determine whether it's your intestines. If it's in the center of that's in the small bowel. But you can just about see where your big colon wraps around you there. But if it's in the stomach, it's going to be up in there. The transverse colon, a lot of people right in that middle section, right here, right where the stomach and everything is, that's a bad place a lot of times for people. And that's the pituitary place and the pineal place. A good 6 inches on each side, that does it. Then down goes the pituitary and pineal gland, so then comes the insomnia or can't sleep, and then of course in comes the pituitary, which down goes thyroids, parathyroids, adrenals, excuse me, all those things. Now, that lasts between 15 and 20 minutes. Yeah, I would cut this down and I would probably get the stomach tea and just sip it. Just sip it. Or mix it with the grape juice. You can mix a little apple, a little grape juice, and a little stomach tea. That stomach tea is anti-inflammatory, so it'll buffer all of that. And it'll start the healing process. And so will the grapes and all that other stuff. But they're strong. And brother, when you got a weakness and you take something like real concentrated greens or thing, you can feel that. That tells you there's a weakness in those tissues. Because you shouldn't feel that. Tons of people all around the world are going on grape fasts all the time now. That when you feel that, there's a weakness. So you want to check that out. And so I think that's what I would do. I would do half and half maybe with the apple juice and then throw in some heel-all tea or stomach tea and soothe everybody down. I've been watching Dr. Morse's videos, and I think I have a lot of things to work on. Well, pull your eyes. If I can get you guys to just pull your eyes and look at them and read them real good, you guys will look, I've got this, I got that. Oh, look, that's why I feel that. Look right there. It shows you. Pretty cool stuff. I have really high cholesterol. No. I have really high cholesterol. So that should be the symptom of my high level of acidosis. You hit it right on the head. And also, what would be weak to see the cholesterol start building up in the body? What then would be weak? The adrenal glands. Why? Low steroids. Low steroids. See, the body can use steroids to fight acids. When it's using cholesterol or pulling calcium or edema, that means those adrenals are down, right? Right. So that's part of the problem, but you got it right on the case here. Now, if your cholesterol is elevated, you really want to pull your eyes. Because if you have that cholesterol ring, that translucent ring around the outside of your iris, the colored portion, and you have a translucent ring around part of it, like a halo or all of it, you're in trouble. That means that's plaque cholesterol. It's one thing to have elevated cholesterol in the blood. It's another thing to see it work and doing its job, neutralizing acids. The problem with that, the buildup. Because we're in stagnation, we're in agglomulation, we're in acidosis. So when you're in acidosis, everything dehydrates and agglomerates, sticks together, and so does the lipids trying to stop it. So now you have the plaque situation. Same thing with calcium. Pulls it out of the matrix or connective tissue, ionizes, of course, and bam, now you got a rock. So what you've got is a bone spur outside of a joint that has losing its joint, but getting bone spurs around it. Easy to understand, though, when you understand acidosis, interstitial fluids, the kidneys, and all this, and how everything has to keep moving and filtering out. You can't have stagnation anywhere. And the idea that when you see filtration in the kidneys, you have an infection, I mean, it's the same idiocy as fevers are bad for you. Between seeing sediment in the urine and having fevers, those are the two things medical doctors find that they have to treat with antibiotics and everything else, because your infections, you're in trouble. And those are the two very things you want. Isn't that amazing? Whew. Why the fever? Well, what's it? I mean, the old days, man, they promote a fever. This has been out of the annals of time. Comes fevers. Because what's your largest eliminative organ you have? Exactly, your skin, your integumentary system. And that is the biggest part of the lymph system as well. Not only acids, but gases. You ever see gases leaving you? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Fun stuff. Since I was born, I have had constipation problems. Well, that you have to see if you have interstitial lymphatic constipation, which would yield you malabsorption, meaning that your lymph is stagnant, right? But stagnation also means in the wall of the gut, and then around the laterals, and around all of those things that are involved. Could be weak adrenals and low neurological response, low neurotransmitters. If your blood pressure is low, you could go there. Or your bowel wall's gotten hardened from acidosis, from interstitial constipation. Either way, we're going to open this up, ain't we? We're going to open this up. We're going to get our kidneys to filter. We're going to enhance the nervous system through adrenal enhancement. But you could use brain and nerve as well, and get everything turned back on. But I would use probably the stomach and bowel number 2, as long as you can go every day. You want to go every day and do stomach and bowel number 2 or 3, something like that to help you go. And as you get everything fixed, you'll find that you have to come down off of it because it makes you go too much. That's perfect. Because you want to come down off of these. You don't want to stay on them, but you want your body to let you know that. Right? You don't want the addictive laxatives and stuff like that. These are we only use bowel restoratives. I have used laxatives before on cases. In fact, I think, Jonathan, I was talking to you about a case about we have to use, or one of you guys, we have to use a lot of number 5s and laxatives. Ooh. When you get Crohn's and you start getting, cords like that they call the colon, when they should be more like that, that's a problem. My mom used to give me magnesium for that. See here, and that's the thing. Everybody's hot on magnesium, but you get to realize magnesium has a twin sister. Who is she? Calcium. So if I give you a lot, remember, all spaces in this universe is full. Right? Everything is already created, whether you understand that or not. So here's a situation where this girl's body is totally set up in chemistry. Now, the mom wants to introduce more chemistry, so in comes magnesium. If you introduce it through the food sources like fruits, berries, and melons, the chemistry is in proper ratios and in proper balance. When you isolate that, and I'm just going to give you one, now you took one family member out of the family and you gave it back to the person. Well, since all spaces are full, somebody has to take up that space. And somebody's got to slide back into that space. Who's going to do it? See, so when you take magnesium, it's going to push its relationship out. And there goes the calcium. You can't play games like that. Remember, we talked about that in the video just not too long ago, where we talked about in the olden days, we gave calcium to people when they had bone problems and stuff like that, not realizing. And then we realized in research that, oh, wait a minute, can't do that. We got a twin sister. And I could argue we have a little brother, phosphorus. And he's an acid, but he's essential. So what do? So you can't treat like that. This is peristalsis, and having a bowel movement is a neurological experience. So you want to go after your nervous system. There's a weakness there. Or your bowel wall is getting really stiff and hardened from acids. Acids harden things. You ever see somebody with too much radiation? Not pretty. So, yep. Where was I on that one? Oh, yeah. Oh, plus my grandmother on my dad's side died from colon cancer. Uh-oh. Well, that just simply means that your colon could be a mess, genetically speaking. You have to get your eyes and look at it. But, you know, you can refurbish it, though. I mean, come on. Yeah, there's regeneration. You got to remember that, because it's a doomsday thinking if you don't. I mean, I could see how, if you didn't understand this level of thinking, it could be a real doomsday out there. Nowhere to go, no hope. Some lady remember we read her, she was 30 medical doctors and 3 or 4 naturopaths, and nobody could help her. It's like, what? That's not good. At the age of 14, I started with eating disorders until the day I saw Dr. Morse's first video. Wow. So I can't say I am healed, but for the first time in my life, I feel like I know what I want to do with my life. Good deal. You know, take off after that. You know, I think we give you enough food for thought, and if you're not, we are here, always here to help people. Always. And then we got all you guys out there helping. Artie's helping people all over the place. We got all these websites. So there's plenty of help, I think. And someday when we get these people that promise us the world, like some of these movie stars and directors and people I've cleaned up to help people out there. Yeah, people tell you everything. And you cure them up, and then you never hear from them again. And I've been told that for years, though, and I don't even care. Who cares? But it'd be nice to see somebody with money come help the world a little more instead of sitting out there hoarding it. Oh, you know, money is only paper. Get rid of it. She's now 23. She's young. Now, so that was 9 years of binge eating and purge and vomiting. Oh, God. Now I know how bad I did to my body. Well, but you start from now. You don't look back, and you don't look forward. You live in the now. You enjoy the moment for what it is. Because if you live in the future, you'll never enjoy the now, because you're always striving to get something you never can get. If you look at the past, it's always dead. That's all dead. It's just dead images laying back there. If you want to light it up with your attention, you can. It's like reading a dead book. You know, you go to some of these, they call them golden wisdom temples, but there's a lot of temples on all these different planes. As you get higher up, you don't read books. You step in the presence of the light. And, powerful. Powerful. Yeah. Powerful. Now, besides that, I have been dealing with some extra weight. Not too much, but when you are a teen, that really bothers you, I bet. Well, fix your kidneys and adrenals. You know that's a problem with teens. The bowels, yeah, the bowels, that's a problem with all of us. You know, just go after your body. Just go after your body in a state of wellness. Don't even think about it. Live in the present moment. Let that moment grow and grow. And every moment you'll be eating good and happy. And before you know it, you look around, your body's resurrected. Everything's fixed. Everything's healthy. And you're happy. And you're free. And you have a youth to enjoy. That's what I would be thinking about. Besides that, I have been dealing with some extra... So I tried to stick all my teenagers to a really high protein diet, like 90% protein and the rest veggies, adding whey protein too. So at that time, I only poop if I binge and drink tons and tons of water. Oh yeah, proteins are so constipating, it's not even funny. And of course, they all break down into, most of them, into acid ash. It's the ash, we'll be talking about that later on in the video. The ash that it breaks down is what you're looking for. Otherwise, I could be like 15 days without going to the toilet. Here's another 15-dayer, and even though I had to take some pills for that anyway. So here's someone that moved every 15 days, and they still had to take pills to help her. I got you beat. I had 2 ladies, each of them had 30 days. So every time their estrogen kicked up during menses, it caused a poop. So that acid, you know, estrogen kind of stimulated things and caused a bowel movement. Every 30 days. Then I had a Southwest airline pilot in here, and he's the one that goes over the pulse, so he's a radiation crazy. But he says, I can go generally 15 to 17, he said, but 45, I can go 45 days without a bowel movement easy. And I'm sitting there, I broke my chin on my desk, it hurt so bad. I was just like, 45 days? So I'm thinking, I said, well, listen to this, man. I said, 45 days, right? And he goes, right. I said, okay, roadkill out on the road, right? You see some coon or some possum or something get ran over on the road, right? 45 days on the road? I don't think so. Something's got it within the day or two. And it starts stinking pretty quick. Bacteria's joining in. Maggots, flies are coming around. Everybody's having some lunch. And you're 45 days with dead things? Because I asked him, I said, you eat dead animals? He said, well, of course. I said, did you eat dead animals? And you've got dead animal meat in your body for 45 days, and you eat every day, right? What do you guys think? I think if he didn't have worms, I'd be amazed. Somebody's down there helping him eat on that stuff, because... not pleasant. You think about body odor? You hold meat in your bowels, you can smell it come right out of your lymph nodes and your arms. I'm telling you, you guys know that already. For you guys that haven't had meat in a while, go have some meat and then smell yourself. You start stinking. God. Funny. Yeah, I imagine you didn't poop. I mean, that if anything tore your bowels up, that did. Spending 15 days with protein matter in your bowels is hell on the mucosa for sure. Not good. That's how you can get all kinds of breakdown of tissue here. I was really depressed and thinking maybe if I died, I don't have to handle this anymore. But likely I discovered, Doctor, see, you didn't have to leave your body this time because you found us. So, now you just fix it and be part of our team, but are out there helping others to fix your bodies and then work on your spirituality, because that's who you are. And that's the happiness and joy you have, is the awareness that you have, what you know, what you're aware of. Because what you're not, how can I say that? The less you're aware of, the less happy you are. Because you're more chained and more locked into deep worlds of despair, fear, and unhappiness. When you realize you're the key. You, each and every one of you beautiful souls, are the key to your happiness and joy, or your depression and unhappiness. Physically, yeah, there's a lot of physical problems that relate to unhappiness and stuff like that. No question on the planet. There is physiological reasons all over the place. Just look at the typical diet of man is depressing. But your spirituality, your awareness is everything beyond your physical body and your diet. The who am I syndrome. 15 days. Well, I don't know how long I went growing up, but I was milk. We had farms and everything else, so we were all farmer thinkers, and we milk all the time and everything. I couldn't poop for days and days. I still remember my mom and grandmother chasing me around with an enema bag. And I'm going, what the hell? No, it's like horrible, horrible, horrible. I hate that. But I'm glad you discovered this, and it's beautiful, amazing team. Oh, thanks. Here I am. So I have a couple of questions then. Do I have to use the herbs anyway, or can I avoid them if eating only fruit? It depends on what level of health you want to attain, my dear. Herbs, look at herbs as your life saviors. They go in and they're for the cells. The foods are too, but they're more energetics and things. The herbs come packing with a consciousness to go after tissue. They go after the cells of the human body. You've got kidney herbs, you've got liver herbs, you've got herbs for every cell that's made in the human body. God made everything just right. And so, we have a problem with the kidneys, we go to nature and we get the herbs for the kidneys. So it just depends what your eyes look like, what your genetics are, how deep you want to get into this, you want to go. I highly recommend herbs. If you can't afford ours, you go out and you get teas or something. There's always a way to buy herbs that's affordable. The teas, if anything, the bulk herbs. But you've got to work with your kidneys and things like that. It's just a lot quicker. If you're just going to try to get healthy with diet alone, you're going to be 10 times what it would take anybody normally. I'm not trying to sell you on the idea. It's just that I had a lot of years without herbs, and I ate a lot of years with them. And let me tell you, I've used supplements, I've used vitamins and minerals, I've used everything in my world. I mean, any good healer is going to try to find the tools to help his clients the best that they can. That's only a God person, isn't it? Mm-hmm. The big problem here is that I'm in Argentina. Customs House stops every product from the outside of the country, and I don't know if I can get them. Well, here's the thing. It's not difficult. Go to your customs agents or call your customs agents up and ask them about herbs and that you're wanting to buy from a company that sends around the world. And that if this company contacts the customs office, whether we can work on getting application approved to getting our herbs in your country. We love to go through customs and go through and get proper approvals and get our herbs in your country. So ask your customs if we can do that for them. They can examine our herbs all they want. We give them what's in them and all this, the percentages. They get everything about them. They're all FDA scrutinized. So our lab is over FDA scrutinized. So, you know, you might be able to do that. Then there's other companies that can get them to you, that are closer to you. So don't count them out yet. And see what Argentina has to offer in terms of herbs for kidneys and lymph systems. It's hard to find any herbs for lymph systems because companies are not thinking like that. Is it normal, the pain in my stomach? No. Not normal. You've got something going on there. So you get your eyes, you take a look at it. It's probably a burn or an ulcerated area or, you know, a highly acidic area. So you just let it heal. And like we said, you know, cut your grape juice in half of apple juice and then maybe add some stomach tea there to help heal faster. Or if you have something like slippery elm or marshmallow in your country, something that you can find like that, that's what I would be taking down. Or aloe vera. Get the aloe vera leaves, cut them open, use that slippy, gooey stuff. You know, maybe a little quarter of a shot glass about every time you take your herbs. Or if you know, during your eating. I have spiders in my legs. Spiders in her legs. Well, we have parasite G and she has spiders in my legs, really easy to get bruises. Okay, so this isn't good. All right, so here's something else that's not too good. It's what you just said. You have spider veins, and you have and you bruise easy. Petechia, not good. This is a case where this isn't good. So what's wrong with it? You have problems utilizing calcium. Well, where am I going? Parathyroid, thyroid. Make sure both of them are working. Both of them use components to deal with calcium. So you use parathyroid. I'm a parathyroid freak. Very few people think about it. But I've correlated the parathyroid for years. I've done this, trying to determine whether it's a thyroid or parathyroid, because in physiology you can get confused which one does rebuild the bones and which one you osteoblast, osteoclast, which one builds, which one tears down, which one borrows. But I've correlated this for years between the patient's or the client's symptomology, their eyes, and what I see. So when I see spider veins, varicose veins, petechia, bruising easy, herniations, aneurysms, which is real scary, I always see the parathyroid and not always see the thyroid. What other gland must we think about here? Pituitary. So this is a case where she has to think about her pituitary gland, maybe, and her definitely parathyroid and thyroid. So having a picture of her eyes would be very good so you can see them. But I can tell you, dear one, you've got to work on your thyroid and parathyroid glands. Now I use glandulars for those initially, but I use them only short term. So we don't max out energetic experiences. We don't get that energetic saturation that anything can do to us. And we'll talk more about it as we go on. So it's enough to say here, even depression is where you could be coming. So you've got to work on this. You want your spider veins gone. You don't want any spider veins. You want any bruising easy. You don't want any of that stuff. You know, that's weak connective tissue. And that shows acidosis, but it also shows your body isn't rebuilding that. Your body might be borrowing calcium, but it shows acidosis with what? A weak adrenal gland. Well, it's hard not to get acidosis in the human body with healthy kidneys and adrenals, isn't it? Because if you have healthy kidneys and adrenals and you're filtering, you don't have stagnation. You don't have a backing up of fluid, whether it's acidic or otherwise. Everything is moving. and filtering, as it should be. You never want your septic tank to back up, do you? You never want your sewer system to back up, and 90% of humans do. That's why we're in chlamydia and all these other type of bacteriums and stuff. Okay. Understanding all this is vital so you don't do the wrong things. And the medical community is insane when it comes to this sort of thinking. They're antibiotic insane because they haven't gone past the pathology of things and going a little deeper into the why, the cause of things. When you set up a whole system of diseases and theories, you gotta, if you're loyal to that, it can be your doom. Yeah, I'm reading letters where people have been to 10 and 20 medical doctors with no help. And this is everywhere. Not me, I'm just reading them. Alright, so you got to work on that. Now let's see what's out. She has extremely sweaty hands. What's wrong? Kidney failure. In other words, she's not filtering. No way. She's probably low in her thyroid, so she's not sweating, only in her, and this is my guess, her hands and maybe in the bottom of her feet. Largest pores, and that tells you your kidneys are down. When your skin or your hands and feet are over sweating, your kidneys aren't filtering. You're not getting the waste out like you should. And your body's using the bigger spaces to achieve that. This is where your bigger spaces are. So that's a classic. Now, she also has rosacea. Alright? If you'll get in a 15x mirror and look there, you'll see pus and stuff. You'll see all the stuff in there. You know, all I can tell you is this lymph stagnation in the head. This is in the head now. Mr. Brain is right back there. So you really want to take off. Now that you're selling us more problems, you don't want to sit there and just have fruit. You want to take off after a detox program and get into your body. You're telling a whole bunch of problems here that could have serious complications, my dear one. In case I have to take the herbs, which protocol do you recommend for me? Well, I hate to say when you put it that way, because you don't want to hate to take something. If you hate to take something, then maybe don't take it, because it isn't making you happy. See the value in taking what you want to take. If you want to take something and it has side effects like it's going to kick your butt and could cause your death, I would probably think a second before taking it. But when you have an herb that's guaranteed to help resurrect and enhance the function of your cells, I wouldn't get too upset about it when thousands are on them. I would look forward to taking stuff like this. I'll have to tell you that be thankful there is the pharmaceutical or the pharmacopoeia of botanicals. Thank God that we have herbs and botanicals. I'm telling you, they're the sweethearts. They come in when I'm sitting here with no tools and I'm seeing these people, extreme cases passing. We have no tools. What can we do to help them? Those are the herbs. They're tissue specific. I've said this for years. Herbs are tissue specific. And there's even herbs for floods. Which herbs are for floods? The lymphatic herbs. They'll also clean the blood. But you have blood cleansers. Sassafras, all these are blood purifiers. Red clover, better look at red clover. It'll clean the blood and pull a tumor at the same time. You know, that's the power of herbs. You gotta love them. But when you sell to me you like salads and vegetables, that's what herbs are. Most of them are vegetables. Some are roots and tubers, and barks and inner barks, but most of them are herbs. They're vegetables. Matter of fact, in this country, herbs are classified as foods, not medicinos. So I wouldn't be afraid of them. I'd be looking forward to it, because you got some lymph to work on. You got some kidneys and adrenals down here, my dear one. You got thyroid and parathyroids down. And do you have the pituitary down? That's what you have to look at with that. Protocol, look up the protocol video. If not, you'll call in and get a protocol set up for yourself. But there's a 14-week protocol already set up online, and I just now retweaked it. So for those that don't have any specific, they just want to go after that, that one's good. But in your case, you're going to want to go after the parathyroid here. You want to check and see if your pituitary is involved. In other words, you want to be conscious in your own healing. Get a picture of your eyes. Learn what your body's about. Look at your colon. Look at your endocrine glands. Look at your kidneys and your lymph system. Or I'll do it. You know, there's a fee, but can't do everything free. But I'll look at it, or you look at it. I'm trying to teach you all how to look at it yourselves. So you do it free for yourselves. So you want to look at your body. Oh, my colon. Oh, my God. I got to work on my colon, on my kidneys. I got to work on the adrenals. So you have a plan. You see where your lymph system is. You have an understanding of your body. You're not in the dark. The iridology is a 5-color glossy of the inside of your body and how it all is, genetically and lymphatically. And you just can't get that view anywhere. And once you realize, see that view in pictures, wow, then you got a good view of what you're up against. And that's what you want to work on. Your eyes will change to match your success. So therefore, you can use your eyes as your success barometer. Good stuff. You'll be participant and present in your own healing. You know, I had one guy come up one day and came in and see me, and I forget, he was diagnosed with cancer in a couple of places. So he said to me, he said, Doc, I'm putting my life in your hands. I'm putting it all in your hands. I trust you. I'm going to put my life in your hands. I looked at him and I went, no way. I said, you don't put your life in my hands. I'll help you, but you put your life in your own hands. It's your body. You're the one that got it this way. I'll help you fix it. But don't give me your stress and your journey. That's hard enough on my own. So I want to get home. So, true. He promised me. So all I can say is participate in your own journey and your own wellness, and not only your own wellness, but your own awareness. Know who you are and where you come from, and know all these things, and we can help you to know those things. And you can know them firsthand. That's the one thing I ask you guys. Have faith, but then get a knowingness by actually experiencing it. You guys are taking this on and you're experiencing it, and now you're the knowers. You jumped in faith, and now you're the knower. And you can't beat knowingness. No one can take it away from you. You have experienced it. You know it firsthand. No one can take that away from you. Although I've seen people start this and get down the road, and then something come up, and some healing crisis or something scare them away, and then they look back and go, oh, I felt so good. I want to get back again. But you can start anytime, any place, anywhere. Be here now, always, anywhere, any age, any place, anytime. Now, I understand some English, but not absolutely everything. I would love to take Dr. Morse's course in the future. Is it only in English? Yeah, right now it is. Although, for the Hindus, I'm working on trying to get this, my main book done in Hindu for you, for all the Hindus out there. I talked to my publisher about that. I was asked about that. One of the Hindus that wrote in asked me about that, so I asked my publisher about that for you. So they're going to work on it for you. Good stuff. I would have total agreement with you. The problem is getting someone that can translate the book properly, where you're not translating it, because someone just translated it in French. That's done. It's been in Romanian. Let's see what else. It's in several languages right now. but I don't have it in Hindu. And I would take it as a personal honor to have it in Hindu. Thank you so much for everything. Wish you a lovely day, week, and life. D, and a huge hug for every of you. Here's a hug back. Hug to all of you guys back. Hugs are good things today. Yeah, we're getting there. Yeah. Nikan? Question regarding birthmarks. You know, we talked about that on another one. And, sorry. Talked about birthmarks and stuff like this. And I'm limited with that experience because I've been a heavy hitter in all the near-death things and all the neurological things. So things like birthmarks and things like this, I haven't had people really tell me much about them. I've had people tell me they fade away. I've had that told me. But I'm very limited experience with it, you know, because it's not, no one comes just for that. And very few people even think of that. Matter of fact, I've had some people ask me to I see this, excuse me, I have people that ask me for the 14-week protocol, so I'm reading through your stuff. And they'll say, well, I have rosacea, and I have dry eyes, and I have constipation. And that's what I want you to fix me on. And I write that down. So then I look through your questionnaire. Oh, I have cancer of the bowel. And on the back I say, what's your most concern? And a lot of times some people won't even put their main problems. They have a big tumor in the lungs. Another one, was it something really bad? And it was like, oh, you didn't want those fixed either? It's almost like people don't realize that there isn't anything that you have that can't be eliminated of a negative thing. There isn't anything that I think that you have that can't be, in one way or another, augmented and changed and rebuilt and regenerated. Birthmarks, you know, I don't know how long, but I do believe that you can regenerate all tissues. And we see it in scar tissue, we see it in adhesions. You know, people come to us with heavy scar tissue and adhesions from post-surgeries, because when you go into tissue under an acid sky, your body's not going to heal well. That's why it's so important, and that's when you do surgeries, as a rule, is when the patient's highly acidic and the tissue's falling apart, or popped and exploded, or whatever, like a dead coon on the road. But that's what happens, same stuff. Your appendix pops, dead animal on the road, popping. That's, you know, you got to realize inside the body it can become sepsis. And I mean, you know, we've got a septic system in there for a reason. We produce sewage. Physical body is, you know, a machine, basically, from one point of view. So first of all, I want to thank you for all that you have done. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And continue to do for so many people suffering. I hope so. And you guys too. You guys have been helping a lot of people. You guys deserve a lot of credit here. You guys have helped a lot of people. So many loyalists out there that have worked with us so close. I couldn't mention all your names. You're all beautiful. You come to our classes all the time. You're just a bunch of beautiful, beautiful beings. And the time you're spending right now won't be for naught. Guarantee you. Things are coming. You have directly and indirectly touched the lives of dozens of people in my life. Oh, thanks, honey. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. I am forever grateful. Oh, thanks so much. Much love to you, too. Okay. I have a question regarding birthmarks, specifically those known as Stork Bites. Or Salmon Patches. They appear as red marks on the face and heads of newborns. And they generally disappear with time, but for some reason these types of birthmarks do not disappear if they are located in the back of the neck. Like I said, I would really, you know, get that lymph moving and detox moving, and I think they will. I really do. I still have mine on the back of my neck, and I would like to know if detoxing would get rid of them. That's what I'm told. how can the location of the birthmark have an effect? Well, that's a good question. And I don't know whether it has to do with lymphatic drainage in these areas or not. I don't know. Some things are stranger than strange. Some things believe in Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum, because some things it's like, I'm not sure why that is. I'm sure in another 100 years, with what you guys are setting up and we're all setting up right now, there'll be some really smart people. In another 50 years, there should be really, really smart people out there. I would hope within the next 10 to 20 years, taking off of the research that's going on out there and what we're doing, it's just a beautiful thing how everything is proving itself and handing it to the American public. This university, this college is proving what we're saying about fruits and things, and this college is proving everything is coming together. It's like God saying, okay, for those that remain unconscious, here's the truth. I don't know. Also, what is your general advice regarding birthmarks? Should we expect them to disappear? Some don't. I've seen some for years and years and years. I would say this. I think everything is involved in toxicity at one level or another, or weaknesses one level or another. So, that's all that's out there. So, you fix both of those things. And in that course of action, I think all things will be eliminated that is impure and not of a normal issue. And like I said, my focus on birthmarks have been very limited, but I've had many people who have had them tell me they disappeared on them during the detox. That's all as far as I can go with that one. But certainly a good question. One was on stretch marks and adhesions and stuff like that. And same thing. Toning. And you always want to remember the parathyroid and thyroid. Always remember the word connective tissue with stretch marks and everything else like that. And work with connective tissue. Work with the parathyroid, thyroid glands always. And just remember our little bump there could be the pituitary involved or not. Don't make it a big deal. But that's why I want to get you used to the eyes. It's no big deal getting a cell phone picture of your eyes. We got so many pretty good pictures. Pretty impressed with you guys and getting some nice pictures in here. And you just read them, look at them yourself. If you don't know how to read them, we got some videos, and I'll keep trying to put some videos up. We're pretty caught up with the eyes. If some of you want to send some eyes in, and maybe we'll do a whole other video on iridology again. But our iridology classes are coming up in the fall. Oh, we got 1 week. 1 week left, guys. 1 week before the class. Get ready. I'm starting my engine right now. So I got 1 week. So you got 1 week of me putting up with this for 1 week. But I brought some friends this time. So it's going to be a special class. I went deep into spirituality, and it was a very crazy road, as I started to become paranoid, thinking that people were after me. Yeah, I was too for a while. When I went after the IRS, they decided to come after me. So I wasn't sure when I'd have black cars. It wasn't the IRS after me, it was the Department of Justice. They don't like truth in this country yet. Hopefully with the new administration they're going to have a big dose of it, but I don't know. Not political. I wanted to leave this world, and thankfully I have come out of that and realized nobody is after me. But I really got taken by the negative side. It's very easy. You have to become a watcher on the threshold. You ever heard of that one? You have to become that individual that watches that which comes into your beingness. Because if you're not a watcher, it's so easy. I constantly am working on it because it's so easy to get tripped up into thought. And there is a higher way of thinking. It isn't all streams of thinking processes. The mind has a higher part of it. And you can get trapped into that higher part of the mind acting as if it's consciousness. but it's still involved in activity. You know, these are very subtle things, my dear ones, when you're trying to live in the presence. And I don't know if it's something that is achievable totally, because in that, it makes it extremely difficult to function physically, because everything is always new. If you're totally present, and you've lived down this road in a farmhouse for 50 years, you've traveled that road 2 or 3 times a day, so there's not anything that you've missed. Matter of fact, if there's a Bigfoot on the side of the road, you're going to see it, because that would be something you don't see every day, right? When you're in the present moment, every time you drive down your road to your house, it'll be the first time you drove down that road. You will not remember that road because you're down it for the first time. Oh, look over there. Oh, look over there. Because you're not working in your mind. You're not working by memory anymore. You're working in the real time, in the present moment. So there's a big difference. We smell by memory. We think by memory. I mean, it's amazing. The things we do from memory because we're not present. And spirituality dictates the present. The problem with spirituality on this planet is like metaphysics. It's involved in, I call it mental spirituality or mental metaphysics, because metaphysics is the spiritual side of the mind, in my opinion. And it'll take you on long dissertations of thought. Higher thought, of course, but long chains of it. And I was sent to cut that. My ability is to take the complex and simplify it. Because I can't stand the complex. It's like, yeah, impress us with your jargon. Okay, anybody can do it, but can you simplify it? That's the thing. Because simplification is happiness and joy. The complex, you're lost in, and that's when you breed fear and separation and all that. But it's easy to want to leave here in spirituality because you're introduced to levels of beauty that you can only remember. And it's like you want to come back to this world, and I just come out of worlds where the trees are flashing jeweled colors, and the plants are every colors in the world, and they're emitting jewel-like frequencies, and it's like, oh, and I'm back to here. Yeah. But there's a reason. And when, this is a buddy system. God uses the buddy system itself. So as you become aware, you place your hand out and pick someone else up and help them become aware. Remember the pass it on thing. When you get it, you start giving it. And then they'll give it to you even more. And as you give more, they'll give you more. Can be interesting. So you're here to give because you've got your sukkah, right? You now know who you are, or do you? Thankfully, I have come out of that and realized nobody is after me, but I really got taken me out. I feel like my purpose in this life is to help others with their health, but I'm working full-time for a business I hate, and I don't know how to free myself. Be present, and it'll show you. You work on being present. You don't worry about the job. It'll take care of it for you. You just start giving your hand out. It'll take care of the rest. Be present. And it'll take care of the job you hate. What do you think is the purpose of life? Truthfully? Experience. Not knowledge. Not wisdom. Why do we seek the very things it already is? See, it's only seeking experience of itself. When you're the one, and there's only the one, there's no self-examination. Try having self-examination in the present moment of the now. You can't, because there is no position for you to be in that's examining something separate than yourself. You're totally in the consciousness. There's no other factors to that. There's no other doorways. There's no other places to be. There's no time. There's nothing like that. It's all invasive. It's everywhere. It's ever present. Remember, omnipotent, omnipresent, and omniscient. You understand those three things, and you've got it. But you want to be that. You don't want to just mentally understand that, because you can only mentally understand so much. The mind can't be consciousness. But it's got a memory. And it's like eating. You can start smelling smells and tasting from memory. And you can have spiritual experiences from memory. So you always have to watch that. There's traps everywhere spiritually, because it's trapping itself. It keeps itself on these journeys because it's learning about itself. Everything emanates out of itself. So it's learning about itself by expressing itself in individual forms. It's just like constantly expressing. Amazing. Amazing. And each and every one of you are a part of that. Expression. You are that. There's nothing else. But you have to see it in all life, no matter what form it takes, and how limited that form's awareness is of itself as the whole, because we are also limited in awareness of ourselves, of the whole. You can't have full awareness here without blowing yourself crazy and blowing all your circuits and everything else. You can't do it. There's only so high you can get while maintaining a physical body, or it'll char it up. Can't do it. Well, they won't let you do it. And if you do it, you don't see those people anymore. They don't come back anymore. Their bodies are charred and all these things. They don't come back. There are a lot of deaths that are unexplained like that. People get out, they don't want to come back. It's easy to understand. Here's Kristal. Did I answer that, Tony? I'm trying to be in the now. So here's Kristal. I love that name. I went deep into... Oh, this is the one we're working on. Yep. Female. Isn't it funny? We think the purpose of life is so grandeur. No. It is grandeur. Life is just it expressing itself in untold forms. Unlimited forms. And if you've ever worked in the land, like weeds, you can't stop them hardly. And it's forever. It'll go this way, it'll go this way. It'll take whatever path it has to for the experience of it. You know, we make so much out of nothing, because we already are so much. We just don't know it. But you can't know it. The more unconscious you are. You know, that's that old saying, is it better to be conscious or unconscious? Sometimes when you're conscious, the experiences are rough, as opposed to being unconscious. But it is always better to be conscious. Kristal. And honey, you're a way shower. So show people the way. Okay? Accept that. I'm just getting that from you. You're a way shower, so start showing the way to people. Alright? Whatever that takes in your world. And keep being present, my dear one. That's what I keep getting for you. Love you. Interesting. Thank you for that. Oh, Kara. Excuse me. Hey, Kara. Dr. Morse and team are such a blessing. Oh, thanks. Thank you for all you do. I'm 21 and have severe acne. Here's another severe acne case. Poor thing. 21 years old. Severe acne. Since a young age. Depression. PTSD. Oh, my God. She's got it all. Struggle with disorderly eating and bulimia. Poor thing. Well, sweetheart, listen. Kara, turn the page into a new world. And you're the center of this new world. And this new world evolves around you and your beauty and your joy and your expression. God put you expressing itself through you. You are its expressing. Realize the beauty of that. And this is a health issue that can be remedied. Just because you're on a rock that doesn't have a lot of answers doesn't mean they're not out there. So, you've come to the place to fix this, so fix this. You've got to get into your kidneys, your adrenal glands. You've seen the videos probably. So you've got to get into your lymphatic system, which the skin is the largest eliminative organ of that system. It is not a blood system, it's a lymphatic system. So your skin is a big deal. And it needs to sweat. Well, to get it to sweat, what gland has to be working pretty good? And it deals with your basal temperatures. Thyroid? Thyroid. And you want about 98 basal temperature. And you work up a good sweat. And get it opened up. You might not like what your skin's going to look like for a while when you start detoxing, but you got to go through it. You got to ride the bull to get on the other side. You got to cross the alligator lake to get on the other side. So you got to start getting those kidneys filtering. I would do one lymphatic formula for about a month. It might cause you an outbreak. So if you back up and do one lymphatic formula, 2 kidney formulas, the adrenals, go after the bowels, go after the rest of the body, and you'll be successful. But get on the fruits, berries, and melons, no matter what you see, no matter how it comes out, because it's got to come out. That's what's trying to happen now. The medical doctor's telling you steroids and everything that suppresses. Accutane, remember that beauty? And how it rips you inside. That's not the order of the day. They try to treat because they don't understand. Do you want someone fixing your car that does not understand what the noise is they're hearing? I don't know what that is, but we'll tear it apart and see if we can find it. Or would you rather go to a mechanic who says, oh, that's your alternator? I like that kind of mechanic, don't you? Absolutely. The problem is medical doctors don't understand the body and how it works. You might think they do. You would think they would, wouldn't you? If you did, you would be healing people, not treating people. So, you guys have to understand your own bodies or get trapped into this, and that's not pleasant. What goes on here isn't pleasant. So, the skin is your largest eliminative organ, and therefore you want to go at it as an eliminative organ. Get it opened up and sweating. Get your kidneys filtering, and all this will come out of you, Kara, and you will be done, finally done in your life. Your skin loves to rebuild itself. Any damage there from all these acids all these years will rebuild. Fix your adrenal glands. You're 21. I can tell you for sure you have kidney weakness and adrenal weakness. I can tell you, I do a lot of 14-week protocols and stuff, and some of you guys are real young. And I've yet to do one of you younger guys and gals that I haven't seen kidney and adrenals. Not one. And a lymphatic system to match. Not one. So, go after this. And know that fruits, berries, and melons and salads will keep your nice body firm, tight, clean. And if you're not tight and you feel mushy, you work on it. You get your lymph moving, you start working your muscles, you start working on it. You don't want a flabby butt. You don't want to be flabby. That's not good. You want to tone. And to be toned is to be alkaline and healthy. Your body will tone by eating properly, believe it or not. And you don't have to do no more bulimic or anything like that, because it'll keep the body nice and healthy and perfectly shaped and everything else. And it will reshape you. Believe it or not. And that is back. Ripley's Believe It or Not are back. I hope they play an old one where they go about, remember the young lad that had lymphoma? Couldn't find anybody to help him, so he went up to northern Alaska. Remember that story? Yeah, that was on Ripley's Believe It or Not. They couldn't figure out how eating rotten seal meat could cure lymphoma. And to this day, I bet they're still going, I don't get that. I've been on raw fruits for 6 months, excellent, and have taken many herbs from the Fab Four, several rounds of Heal All Tea, upper circulation, brain, and nerve. I'll tell you what, then do some dry fasting, 24-hour, 36-hour dry fasting. Put yourself on a 20, 30-day grape fast. Enter some dry fasting days in there. Get your kidneys filtering. Pull. Because don't give up, ever. You keep going till you get this cleaned up. I also haven't had my period since going raw. Yeah. Classic thing, don't worry about it. classic thing, and do not worry about that, sweetheart. You'll get it back, but this time more balanced. And, by the way, it won't be heavy and clotty and all that sort of thing. You ladies that are having heavy, clotty, painful periods, no. Get yourself healthy where you only spot monthly. Remember, it's a cleaning cycle process. Once you're clean, you don't have to keep, so fix all that up. Do you have any other suggestions? My acne has gotten a little better. Keep digging. Keep digging and digging and digging till that acne's totally gone. Your monthly cycles are back, nice and normal. But it is suggestive of a pituitary. You want to take a look at your eyes, sweetheart, Kara, and look at that pituitary gland and fix these things. Might think about that female reproductive formula just for a month or two, just for toning, strengthening. But you want to take care of this skin, because with the kidneys down like that, you could have ovarian cysts coming and going. You could have uterine fibroids, endometriosis, all the lovely things that can keep you from conceiving or holding to term. All of these things are up when you're 20 years old today, ladies and males. You guys got to think about that, because we've got our world here wasn't listening and thinking properly. So what you have here is a lot of genetics and a lot of lymphatic stagnations and a lot of problems. When you're 9 months old and you have a cell that's been damaged or come into this world, because it had to come into this world at the level of a cancer cell, that's scary. I can't even tell you how scary. I keep going back to the flesh eaters, because when you have a body that's so weak that bacteria attacks it, because that's not what really bacteria is for. Not for the cells so much as for the chemistry. You could see how the human race was going to be extinct from this planet. Extinct. And it's thanks to you beautiful mothers and fathers that are feeding their children living foods and regenerating their weaknesses and stuff. You guys are the cat's meow. You're the ones that are building a new tomorrow for this planet. You have a world that has no idea what you guys are doing to help this planet that they're living on and tearing it up. A lot of people have no clue to the beauty of you guys and what you're doing to help this planet. And generally not. So shall it be. This planet's always crucified all its saints and saviors. But it's like someone said, the battle of the negative forces are real strong. And you have to watch it, because the negative forces is the mind. You got to understand who the mind is. Of course, the mind is duality, so you got the positive and negative sides of the mind, but from consciousness, it is your trap. So, fix you up, sweetheart, Carrie. You'll be fine. Keep working on that. Get your kidneys filtering. So try that 24 to 36 hour dry fasting. You can even do some water fasting, but do a 20-day grape fast or something. Or add grapes and lemons in there. And I would make sure my kidneys are filtering. I would do 2 kidney formulas, 1 lymphatic formula at least. And I would definitely circulate through lymphatic 5. That's your blood, your poke root. Those are your strong boys. You really want to get yourself hydrated and moving. And these are strong astringents. I've been working on the GI broom a lot and getting my bowels cleaned up. And get a picture of your eyes and see what you look like. Do you have a big skin ring around the outside? If you have a big skin ring, that means your skin is weak on top of it. So take the skin formula for a while. It'll help. When I first came out with that formula, some lady told me, it feels like my skin is crawling when I take that formula. I'm going, good formula. Yeah, you could take lower circulation too, just to try to get blood flowing more aggressively through the subcutaneous areas and stuff like that. Just to help break up stagnation. You're 21, but you've been this way since your mom. Your mom loaded you down here. You can't get this lymphatically involved in these few years, even if you just sucked a cow's teat and was always drinking cow's milk. I don't think. But you'll be fine. Your periods will come back. Don't even worry about that. Your body's fixing itself right now. This is a common thing for women's periods to stop during detox. No hurt, no nothing. Don't worry about that one. Hakeem. Hoping that you are well. I am, my friend. Thank you for asking. How are you? My friend had, last January 19th, a left femur neck fracture. I have his entire medical file. On January 22nd, that was on the 19th, 3 days later, MRI femur with contrast impression, bony metastasized located in both femurs. Wow. Pelvic, sacrum, and pelvic bones. Whoa. Wow. So your friend had a left femur neck fracture. In looking at that, 3 days later from an MRI, they found that he had bone cancer. Is that what I'm saying here? Because you use the word metastasis. Located in both femurs, pelvic, sacrum, and pelvic bones. On January 23rd, CT, abdominal and pelvis impression. Renal mass figured. Concerning malignancy, Bosniak classification 4. So it's stage 4, I take it. The list goes on. Oh, sad. By where we start to cure him, initial consultation protocol. Question, KR. Okay. All right, you ready? All right. If you wake up to a diagnosis of any type of cancer, then you know a couple of things. The first thing you have to know is that, number one, these are called lymphomas, meaning that they are of the lymphatic system. Now, I find it amazing that they know enough about the lymph system to actually call most cancers lymphomas. So that does beg some consideration. Why do you know enough about it to call them lymphomas? And yet you guys don't know half of the lymphatic system or the connection the kidneys have to that, and the skin to that system. So I find it quite comical that they at least call these lymphomas, right? So you know what system's involved. Now, I am the guy here to bring the kidneys out on this, so we did. So the kidneys are brought out that the kidneys and adrenals are the main players in the field of the lymphatic systems. They are the main eliminative organs and gland that controls that. Well, enter the skin. The skin is the largest kidney, dubbed oftentimes by the medical doctors as the third kidney. So we have 3 kidneys, sometimes 4 and sometimes only 2. But your kidneys, including the integumentary system, the skin, are eliminative organs of metabolitic waste. You have to be able to have a sewer system in the human body. Without a sewer system, death is very quick, as seen when the sewer system goes down. When the sewer system goes down, you get humps and dumps and swells and tumors and burns and everything else because it's the acid side of chemistry. This is the sewer system after all. And of course you stink and everything else because this is the sewer system after all. The blood cannot be the blood and the sewer system all in one. It's stupid, ludicrous, and impossible. Okay? So they can keep living in that world of ridiculousness all they want, but you guys got to be smarter than that. Humans have to grow up and be smarter than that. Because life is being terminated by the millions with that kind of thinking. So all this guy's down, his sewer system's down. And he's got to go after the sewer system. So you have to go after your kidneys, the adrenal glands on top. You want to clean the bowels out big time because they're symbiotic related to all cells in the body. So the gut has to be cleaned up big time. That also drain the brain and get everything hydrated and moving. And then all this acidosis, all this accumulation starts being hydrated, and then a cationic environment becomes an anionic environment. And everything, all the fluids become more fluid. And stagnation is gone. And therefore those cells that have been damaged can now be taken to the lymph nodes and then be macrophaged and gotten rid of. Thank you very much. The design of the human body. When you have stagnation, the lymphocytes, they can't bring these cells to the lymph nodes. You have stagnation. We can't get these cells out of tissues anymore. because you have stagnation. The lymph nodes are swollen, full. I can't get these cells anymore to the lymph nodes, so the macrophages can terminate them. So the body's going to keep replicating damage, and that's how genetics are formed. No mystery here. You replicate cells, are replicated, and they replicate on its own consciousness, you know. So if you mutate that consciousness, you have mutated consciousness cells. That's genetics. But you can reverse that understanding and start reverse order geneticizing strong cells and strengthening the weak ones. That's the beauty of this whole thing. Come on, medical doctors, come on down. The water's fine, feels good. Yeah. And with that extra knowledge you have in certain places, you can really do well. So, my thinking on a person like this is you take off. You take off on a grape diet or on a diet of fruits, berries, and melons, and you don't look back. Then you go after the body with the herbs. You're on the right foods. Now you're going after the kidneys, the adrenals. You're going after the endocrine glands. You're going after the gut tissue. You're going after the lymphatic system itself. Because, and it just shows you in reading this that this person has cancer literally all through them. Meaning that this person has been acidic probably since they were born. They've broken down cells all over the place. They've got lumps and humps probably all over the place. Okay. So does that mean this person has to die? No. But what it does mean, this person has to get on the ride, get on the path to Wellville, or, you know, go have fun. Go have fun, don't worry about it. Let life take you as it takes you, and down you go. Don't go medical, don't go anything. Just go have fun. Or get real strict. Start getting the kidneys to filter real quick. Dry fasting is going to be a major part of this case. Water fasting maybe a little, and definitely long-term fruit, berry, and melon diets. But doesn't mean this person has to pass. This person has plenty of opportunity to get this fixed and ongoing. What if we're talking about a strong gene person, a person that doesn't take nothing to get the kidneys filtering? Then we're sentencing this person to death when you don't have to. But if this person, I wouldn't put a piece of nothing in my mouth that didn't have a high frequency of fruit, berries, and melons, because frequencies alone can bring you down. You don't need to put the chemistry in. You can just be near it. You ever been near somebody and picked up the energy? Of course you have. Ooh. Ooh. Or, oh, yeah. We all have. It's energy. Everything gives off energy, and we feel that. Being psychic is just watching and feeling energy. And we all have the ability to do the same thing. Just because there's a psychic who spend more time training themselves on that side doesn't mean that you guys can't do it. Heck no. It's all where you put your attention. What do you want to develop? What ability do you want to develop? You're free to develop anything you want here. You know, we just live in this world. They made it so hard on us. That's the negative forces again, that you're laboring. You're paying your soul to the company's store. Remember that one? Oh, Tennessee Ernie Ford. But who's the company store in this case? The World Bank. And they've set this up for everybody. So what we have is a miserable life here because of these narcissistic bastards, basically. So everybody's living in these little streams of suffering and trying to even put food on the table and make it. Taxed to death and everything else. Yeah, we need to change things. But it's enough to say, though, this individual has a road ahead of themselves and should get happy and to keep totally focused, open their doors, get them healthy. You don't have to have a sentence of death. You don't want that riding over your head, because it'll always be a little voice. They told him that, and so there'll always be a little bitty voice here saying that you ain't going to make it. You got a cancer all through you. This positive voice over here says, but listen, this is just your lymph system. Your lymph system is a fluid-based system, and your kidneys or skin are your eliminative organs. You're not eliminating properly. You fix that, and now you'll get all these acids out, and all your cells can rebuild. Oh, no, you can't. That sort of thing. Oh, Teresa. A good friend that's a Teresa. I met Teresa. I was in this little bitty, big building with offices, you know, and I had a little bitty office. But there was a psychiatrist down the way, and so I had a client come in. I had a little pharmacy in there too, and they came in to buy some herbs, and they said, I think a patient's out there waiting on you. I said, nah, I don't have anybody right now. Yeah, I don't know. She looks like she needs to come to you. So I'm going, what? So I walk out to this lobby, and here's this girl with no hair on her head, you know, and I'm looking down, and she had scars. I'm looking at her, and I said, you in to see me? She said, who the hell are you? I said, I'm Dr. Morse. She said, I don't know you. I said, oh. She said, I'm in to see this psychiatrist. I said, I think you need to see me. So I picked her by the hand, took her back to my office. Interesting. Her mother was into Arnold Ehret. Her mother was into raw and raised her raw. And she was into raw that when she gave birth to her daughter, Teresa, she named her Erica because she thought it was going to be a boy and he was going to name her Arnold Ehret. So it was pretty neat. She'd forgot. She had a tumor wrapped around her aorta. They couldn't do surgery, but they went into biopsy. They cut her vocal cords. He was talking like this. That's why she could talk. It was like this. So I fixed her up. I got the tumor out of her. I hired her, and I made her answer my phones. So, just when you think all despair is gone, it isn't. It isn't. You can fix yourself up. So, I'm a 23-year-old female and began experiencing health issues back in 2015. 23 years old, 15, well, that's 2 years ago. I put her at 21, and she's probably, out of mom with some of this stuff. Since then, I had trouble digesting foods, chronic acne, and hormonal imbalances. See, you young guys and gals, boy, you have a lot to teach this world when you get your bodies well. You have so much to teach this world. I balance my hormones with herbs, but I still sometimes have issues with digestion as well as hair loss. My TSH level. See, you guys are getting smart. Her TSH level last measured was 2.6, okay, and now I am having issues with bacterial vegetal. Okay, a high WBC count in my pap. The doc suspected gonorrhea as well. And unfortunately, I am on antibiotics. What can I do with herbs to help my symptoms? Wow! Okay. First of all, Heal All Tea. I designed the Heal All Tea for douching. It'll turn around any atypical cells that you have on the vaginal wall. So I would get that. This is my own personal feeling. I can say it right, my First Amendment rights. First of all, can the antibiotics. Second of all, because it's going to make fungus grow in you like crazy. Remember yeast infections you guys get when you go on antibiotics? I'd can that because you're not after bacteria here. It doesn't matter if you have bacterial vaginitis. The Heal All Tea will take care of that real nicely. What you have is lymphatic stagnation big time all over the friggin' place, and you can see that, right? You got hair loss, so it's up here. Not good, honey. Upper circ, brain, and nerve, but you want to drain those sinuses, get into that bowel, because you must have a chronic bowel if you have chronic digestive problems. So, remember the pancreas and the gallbladder liver just off of the side of that. So what are you having digestive problems with? Lipids? That's going to be liver gallbladder. If you're having chronic digestive problems with your proteins and with your carbohydrates, pancreas. Well, you got to clean up the gut anyway because there are branches off the tree of the gut. So you're cleaning up the gut. You're going after the lymph system in the pancreas and in the bowel wall because you're going after the lymph system. Remember that. And that's the system that wrecks the pancreas and liver is the lymph system, not the blood. The blood doesn't hurt anything unless it's not getting to tissue. But it's the lymph system that can rip you apart. It deals with acids. And the blood has buffers and stuff. So, now, let's go back up here a minute. So, you could use the pancreas. I would use the liver gallbladder formula for about a month and a half. And then I'd shift to the pancreatic formula. The herbs in the liver gallbladder will help the pancreas, so I would use the liver gallbladder formula for a while and then use the pancreatic formula. Now that's going after the digestive organs, but you're going after the lymph system in them, which what breaks them down. So you're going after that system. Your blood you don't have to worry about, because by cleaning everything else, it's nice anyway. You don't have to worry about it. So you're going after your eliminative organs. You're going after your digestive organs. The eliminative organs, because that affects the digestive organs. The TSH seems to be adequate, 2.6. Now, if it was 1 or below, that would be concernful. A high WBC count, that is just saying gonorrhea. That's just saying that your lymph system is in a mess, and you want to deal with this. Because the next word won't be gonorrhea. The next word will be leukemia. So you want to take off after this. Clean your spleen. Clean your spleen out. Use the spleen formula. But you want to start detoxing, and that should bring your WBCs down. If it doesn't, then we have to look at the bone marrow. But high white blood cells are easy to come down. If someone's diagnosed with leukemia, give me high whites any day of the week. I don't care how high. I don't care at all. Give me your whites. It's when they're real low that the problem is. And the same with the platelets. It's not how high they are so much. It can be, but it's also how low. One side clots too much, and one side doesn't clot at all. So, you know, none of it's good. But you just got heavy lymphatic problems, sweetheart, and that's including the vaginal wall. When your lymphatic system down, it's down in the vaginal wall, it's down in the ovarian wall, it's down in the uterine wall. For males, it's down in the testicle walls, it's down in the prostate walls, and in the little winky wall. It's down everywhere. That's the problem. This is systemic problems. They're not just right there. And then when it's right there and you add genetic weaknesses, now you got a systemic problem on right there problems. But that's what the herbs are for, is to fix these things up. Unfortunately, I'm on antibiotics. You use parasite, M&G. That'll take care of all of that. Plenty enough. You want selective kills. You don't want antibiotics, because it's just going to give you a fungus in the vaginal area now. And it's like, oh. So use the Heal Tea. Douche for 2 weeks, 1 time a night. Take off after the detox program and go after yourself, honey. And you will be fine. You will be fine. But you want to fix this now, because chronic digestive problems could lead into serious pancreatic and liver gallbladder problems in the future, and we don't need those, do we? No. So we want to fix those right now. Your TSH is okay. Hair loss, I don't like that one little bit. That's your lymph system. So what I'm seeing here is a young woman here with heavy lymphatic problems that needs to fix that. Get the kidneys filtering so you have a great rest of your life. Or you could be having some serious problems here. Yeah, it's time to go. There's always one more. Whitney. Hey, Whitney. Hi, I have been experiencing chronic pain for 3 months now, but all my blood work and MRI looks good. You know what's amazing to me? That they even have to send you through an MRI, and especially with contrast. It amazes me that they don't understand what pain is and where it comes from. It doesn't matter what tissues it's in. That's obvious. You just locate that. But what system's behind it? What side of chemistry is behind pain? Acids. And of course the nervous system's involved, or you wouldn't know it. So pain is an acidosis problem. So what system do you have involved? The lymphatic system. Areas, wherever you find that. Wherever you find that. The blood work doesn't show anything about pain unless it shows, you know, let's say you had maybe a creatinine of over 1 and you're feeling the kidneys back there. Yeah, maybe that would, you could show pain in blood that way. They have not diagnosed me with fibromyalgia, but they think that's what it is. Well, that's just systemic acidosis. Fibromyalgia, lupus, fibromyalgia, lupus, Lyme's, it's all systemic acidosis. You get rid of it the same. Now, we don't treat those things because those are medical things. But when you have systemic acidosis, you're labeled with those things medically. For us, when you have systemic acidosis, we cure that right up. Now, I say cure it right up. If your kidneys are chronic and all this, it could take you a while. You got to get them filtering and all this stuff like that. Could you please advise me what products would be best for me? I mainly have pain in the areas where my lymph nodes are. Oh, did we just answer our own questions? See, Whitney, what I'm saying? Excuse me. You have, oh, man, you don't want that. Honey, you don't want pain in that. That's what she says. She says, I mainly have pain in the areas where my lymph nodes are, neck, back, around the armpits, behind the knee, groin, base of the head, etc. You don't want pain in your lymph nodes. You know, no, I don't like any of that. All right, I decided not to take meds at all and never have. I want to do it the natural way. Hey, I have news for you. There's nothing they can do to help you here except give you oxycodone or some stupid thing like that. No. You got a problem that no way there's not a medical person alive. Maybe the one in Canada. There's a couple medical doctors I know that are good. They can do this for you, but there's only a couple. You got to move your lymph system. You got to, just what we talked about all this video and all the other videos, you got to address your kidneys, your adrenal glands. You don't want to start feeling pain in your lymph nodes. That's not good. I would be pulling your eyes to see if you have a lymphatic rosary. And if you have a lymphatic rosary, I'm going to go, problems. Lymphatic rosary means your lymph nodes have been swollen since birth. And that means you've got acids chewing on those lymph nodes. That's not good because the other cells can't get their waste through these lymph nodes. So now you have blockages all over the place, everywhere. That's not good at all. Hot spots will start popping everywhere. You could pop cells everywhere like that. And people do. So then, oh, you got cancer all through your... No. You've got lymphatic stagnation all through because it's a systemic problem, generally on one side first over another, because in reality, one kidney goes down over another one first initially. So a lot of problems are always on one side over another. But eventually they'll creep and you'll get them bilateral. You know, everything goes down. But my God, honey, you want to open these lymph nodes up. And I would be visiting lymph node 5 liquid almost out the chute. You don't want, and you're going to want to dry fast. You're going to want to get those kidneys as filtering ASAP. And really take care of this. Look at your adrenals at your age. Look at all this. Because you cannot have pains in lymph nodes and have anything good become of this. See what I'm saying? This is worse than fibromyalgia. You lose your lymph nodes, you lose your cells.